Hi everybody, this is Luna Sky Diamond. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Luna Sky Diamond, and welcome here as well, live on Facebook. Today, the purpose of my video is to invite you to research about technologies that have already been developed and have not yet been shared with the public. I am not going to go into details about who is behind non-disclosure and why. I think all of you are smart enough to know what happens behind the scenes and for whatever the reasons are. What I want to share with you, I know that it could sound a little bit out of unbelievable is what I am saying. I'm going to share with you technology, as I said. For all of you who would like to research, there are many sources on the internet. I prefer not to mention the names of the insiders and the people who has come forward with information, because sometimes just by mentioning one name, the video on YouTube gets immediately deleted. So I hope this one is not taken down. I don't think so. Okay, so let's just share with you. So please, if you're interested in this information, please research it. And for those who believe that this information is sci-fi cuckoo, that's okay as well. It doesn't matter, let it pass on. But my purpose of this video is to share with you about these things because I love you and because I love humanity, and I believe that it's important to talk about these things regardless of if I am being seen like so crazy. But it doesn't matter. Here it goes. To the point. First thing I would like to talk about is anti-gravity. Since the early 40s, over here on Earth, the Nazi Germans already had the technology to build anti-gravity vehicles, as we would call them, UFOs. Since then, we have had, as human beings, as humanity, but already of course concentrated, as I said, the information is very, very concentrated in just a little portion of I mean, basically the elite, the military complex. Not all the military complex, because everything is compartmentalized. So not everybody uses the same technology and things like that. But I'm gonna talk about in general terms of what is already available. So we already have the capacity to go to the moon, and not in rockets like the media shows us to do, that they do it, but through actually these anti-gravity vehicles already created by us, the human beings, to go to the moon in a speed like that, sometimes just in a speed matter of teleportation, literally. we have already had as a civilization the capacity to have conquered, well, not really conquered because the moon is shared by other races and other governments at the same time. There are military bases on the moon, but that's not the point. The point is that we already have the capacity to go to the moon. We have already the capacity to go to Mars, and we have the capacity to go to every single star and beyond our solar system and beyond our galaxy. I know this is this is fascinating. Imagine that we already have the capacity to go even beyond our galaxy. There are infinite star systems, infinite galaxies, and infinite planets that are like Earth. And they are actually populated by human beings that speak English. For example, this is just to give you an example of how far we have gone. So there are, how do you call them? Civilizations that had broken away civilizations is that they call them, since a long time ago, including the Mayans and some of the Atlanteans and many other people that have actually emigrated from Earth, so to speak, to save themselves from one of the cycles of the cycles of the universe, the cycles that Mother Earth goes through a certain period of time. So basically to avoid cataclysms and floods and things like that. So there are breakaway, that's the way they call them, breakaway civilizations. All right, so we already have the capacity to use anti-gravity and magnetic fields to literally, as the common knowledge would say it, levitate a heavy object and transport it from one place to another. All right, that takes us to the point that there are also vessels. Okay, I know this sounds like so crazy, but many of these vessels used by us and used by the ETs, and of course this technology has been shared with us by different ET races, these vessels are intelligent. They are somehow wired. I am not a scientist or anything like that, so I cannot speak in scientific words to try to convince you. Actually, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just sharing information so that it's implanted there in the consciousness of you who thank you, you are tuning in over here. So these vessels are intelligent, they are somehow organic, meaning that it's like a combination between machine and actually flesh and consciousness. So many of these vessels not necessarily have to travel through portals. I'm going to talk about portals later on. But they have the capacity to travel through different time, past, present, and future, places, and dimensions, just through the thought. So imagine somehow that you are sitting there on the commander's chair, and just by putting your hands on particular things that carry all the electric information, and with just your thought, all you have to do is think about where you want to be. Now it's just not necessarily to dial in the coordinates, so to speak, which that technology is still available. Just dial the coordinates to go to Mars, and all of a sudden you are in Mars in less than 1 second. It's true. Oh, well, so I believe it's true. I just invite you to investigate about these things if you find them interesting. So these vessels are intelligent, and actually is quite intuitive. The vessels themselves are intuitive. They somehow could sense danger or whatever. Anyway, the vessel is connected to very much to the being that is the being or beings that are driving the vessel. So we're talking about quantum physics, you know, all this is telepathy, and all this has to do with just tuning in. Okay, so now I said I was going to talk about portals. There are many different types of portals. There are some portals, natural portals. When I'm talking about portals, I'm talking about an opportunity, energy field, circumstance, situation, or machine, or a combination of both, that would give anybody the capacity to travel through time, space, and dimensions. There are, and of course, the knowledgeable people, and they have already been known. Just all you have to do is do the research. And it's in the scriptures and everything like that, like in all the energetic fields of the earth, in different intersections of the ley lines, and in different times of the year, like the equinox and things like that. You can actually literally travel, be portal to another place. It is my understanding that such portals could be very upsetting. The experience could be very upsetting. You could be very disoriented and sometimes become schizophrenic, as the people that have had that experience. It doesn't happen, but it has happened. There are other portals that have the technology, and we already have those portals here on Earth since the early 40s, as I said, at least as we know it, as far as we know it, where, let's say, for example, just as an example, let's suppose you go to a military base, and then you take on the ground, and then when you get, I don't know how many floors on the ground into that facility, and of course you have to have a lot of clearances to go through, of course. Then you go through, you know, the most secret door, and then there, and this is happening since the 40s, if not before, but witnesses and people who have actually have done it themselves have come forward sharing this information. And then basically on that military facility, you're there underground, and then you take an elevator and press that elevator. The elevator opens, you have a key, special key. You go into the elevator, you close the key, and then all of a sudden, in less than seconds, the elevator opens and you are in Mars, in a military facility in Mars. Oh my goodness, I know. And in these, and the people who are using this technology, that particular port, you don't experience that confusion, so to speak. They say that you might experience pressure for atmospheric pressure, but you really don't feel disoriented or sick about this. Nevertheless, there are other portals from other facilities and other segmented groups in the military or the elite or whatever that use other different technology, and such technology has not been developed properly yet. Therefore, there have been a lot of human casualties in the process, and that's why there are some of the people that are coming forward with these, because the people who are developing or trying these technologies or sending people to different missions to different places and planets and whatnot really don't care about your safety whatsoever, and you can lose your friends, or you can just come back burned, or you can just come back without a limb or something like that, because the technology is not still properly developed. So basically, some people have been used as laboratory rats. Okay, that's about anti-gravity and intelligent organic vessels. Isn't that fascinating? All right, what else? What else do we have over here? Masking. So masking. What is masking? Masking is the technology that makes us see something that is not. So there are many facilities and many things, particularly in the moon, and in many secret places in the middle of the ocean and around the earth, that if you are looking at that area from a satellite, or airplanes that are flying through, or boats that are approaching, they see something that is not. So basically you can just see an island, a deserted island, for example, but in reality that is not the reality. That's just masking. So the technology is making you see trees and lakes, but in reality underneath that there is for example, a military facility. What else? Masking is also a technology that these vessels, let's call them UFOs, or they are totally identified by the military because it's made by them, where more than the military is made by the Nazi Germans that have bases in Antarctica. Since Hitler time, a long time ago. I really don't want to go into politics. So there, if we had, let's say for instance, X-ray vision, or glasses that would have X-ray vision that you could actually see what's going on, you would actually see that the sky is constantly full of flying saucers, going in and out from here and there, going there, hovering over here, hovering over there, but we are just not able to see them because they are using that technology that is called masking. All right, let's see what of all these things are more important. Well, I'm going to talk about everything because everything is more important. So I find this information so fascinating that I might just jump from one subject to another to just share with you what I have researched. Reverse aging. There is already the technology to reverse age people. as far as you want. How about if we just leave it like that? I don't want to go into politics and very scary stories that have abused a lot of people. So let's say, just want to share with you that reverse aging is possible. Not only reverse aging is possible, but cloning is possible. 3D printing of human bodies is possible. And at the same time, it is possible through technology to transfer the consciousness, so to speak, from one body to another. So it's kind of like a zombie, a person that never dies. There are some very bad people in the world that you are wondering, when are they going to die? Man, there's such old evil lady or dude or year or whatever in the banking system or whatever, and you're, man, when is these people gonna die? Well, probably they're not gonna die because they already know the technology and they can just reverse their age or transfer their consciousness to another clone. I know it sounds so much sci-fi and so crazy. But the technology is there, and there are some people from the elite, there are some people who know about this technology that of course use it, and they don't want to share it with anybody. Not only technology for reverse aging, that wouldn't it be awesome to be younger? Yes, that's awesome, but technology that could cure you from any disease like cancer, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, any degenerative disease, virus, you name it, basically anything. Part of that technology, for instance, is CO2 GANs, liquid plasma water. GANs stands for gas as a nanostate. So they are using plasma to heal yourself. So basically, if you drink or are exposed to plasma water, I invite you to research about that. I'm going to say it again. CO2 GANs, C-A-N-S, gas as a nanostate, plasma water. This plasma water is could not only be used to heal thyself from everything, but also to clean the oceans from all pollution. So basically it's to detoxify your system, including radiation. That's how good it is. Or for crops, so they can actually grow exponentially. So please investigate about plasma water. Please, if you are interested. There is also the technology to print 3D food. So of course, if we are printing 3D human beings, they already have the capacity. They hear human beings, specifically the Secret Space Program, for example, just to give an example, have the capacity, the technology that is already available, that they don't want to share with the public, because then they will lose control of all. Anyway, I'm not going to get into politics, but there is the technology already to 3D print food. So as I have heard from the people who are talking about this, it's kind of like you find a wall if you are working in any of these secret projects of Earth, like in a vessel. Like, yes, over there in a vessel floating on space. but you are actually treated like a slave, basically. You might be working for the government or maybe on a secret mission or whatever, but actually you're treating it. There's a lot of compartmentalization. People are not allowed to talk to each other, and it's everything so very weird. So, but anyway, that's besides the point. The point is that, for example, you see a wall over here and you just choose with your finger if you want your chickens or your noodle, your chicken, your noodle, or your meat, or filet mignon. I don't know what the options are. There is a menu and you just choose it and print it how you want it, like medium, rare, well done, whatever it is. And then it's printed. It's literally printed. You just go around the corner and there is another counter that just printed the food for you. For example, there is already also the technology to have pure water for everybody, pure drinkable water for everybody, just by small devices and everything like that. Many people that have come forward with this information are having a lot of trouble to get the patent of this before they actually share it with the world. But of course, so many blockages about getting the patent done, because you already know why. Wouldn't it be beautiful? Pure drinkable water and food for everybody. There is already the technology here on Earth, on the ground, the Earth. There is a network of tunnels that transport people or things that have the capacity to transport people, things from one place, let's say from Texas to France or something like that. I mean, I know that I know it sounds so crazy, but everything is underneath tunnels where they use let's say like little trains to make it understandable that have electromagnetic fields. And this is not only happening inside the Earth, but it's already happening in nets that already exist inside the ocean. But then it's electromagnetic submarines that can travel at unbelievable speeds from here to there. Imagine, they're not going to encounter very much traffic. That technology is there already. One of the most important things about this subject is free energy. Of course, free energy already exists. And actually many of these technology of the flying saucers are based on Tesla technology that uses coils and electromagnetic and anti-gravitational fields. Free energy is already available, but they just don't want to disclose it for obvious reasons. Imagine the good that we could give to Earth right now and stop using fossils. Just imagine. Oh yes, this beautiful thing that I forgot to mention about portals, whether they are natural or artificial. I mean, artificial meaning just technology, whatever it is. The reason why we are able to travel, let's say, from the Earth to the Moon or to Mars or to other planets or in other stars in our solar system or beyond the galaxy, is because all the universe is connected by filaments of energy. Imagine like the neurons in your brain. Everything is connected by something that they call the cosmic web. So these vessels, or your bodies, everything travels through the cosmic web. So these filaments of energy, because we are all one, that is a proof that we are all one with all galaxies and all creation, that you can actually teleport yourself from this density to that density, or to the past or the future, or how many light years away from here, or Andromeda, or things like that. And all this is through technology and through the cosmic web. And of course, when I'm talking about all this technology, anyway, I was just gonna go into the importance of being spiritually mature to be able to deal with these things. Because if you encounter races from other planets, no matter how they look, or no matter how shocked you are that, oh my gosh, I thought that we were here, the only human beings on existence in the whole existence of the universe, that we were alone, and then you could be shocked. Anyway, my point is that it requires a lot of spiritual maturity, and these civilizations and everything why are they traveling already over there outside and everything, is because they already have a mature. Anyway, I know there is bad people, there is good people, but what I am saying is that it's good to have an open mind to embrace everything you encounter without violence, more or less, basically without fear. Anyway, but that's not the point of this conversation. I'm gonna go back into my notes. I also want to talk about DEW. Those are direct energy weapons. I know many of these technologies, like the atomic bomb and things like that, could be used for wrong. Direct energy weapons, DEW, yes, of course, they could be used for right. They could be used to manipulate weather, to manipulate many things. But unfortunately, so far, most of the stories that I have heard about is these technologies being used by certain groups. Basically, what are they? They are weapons. It's as if they basically are controlling you like a puppet, long distance, like a video game, Wi-Fi. Like, oh, go and do this massacre over here, go and kill this person over here, or go and blow yourself up and kill so many people and whatever. And in reality, the person, the consciousness of the person that is doing these acts, these psychopath acts, that also have a purpose to create fear and keep controlling the matrix, are people that could be just innocent people, and they are just being literally mind controlled, hypnotized to create acts that they are not even aware to do. These directed energy weapons also have the capacity to, for instance, and it happens quite often, every single time that the ufologist, the UFO community gets together for a speech or a gathering of some sort, they, the ones with the weapons, use this perfect opportunity to come and attack key people. And when I say attack, I'm talking about headaches, losing consciousness, seizures, not being, being disoriented, losing balance, pain in their bones, in their back, that they cannot even walk. Some of them have to limp for the rest of their lives. Some of them have been attacked in the eyes, and now they are blind from one eye because their cortex over here has been totally beamed with that energy that they are using just because they don't like you. Well, for a reason. And even to give people cancer, for example, long distance cancer. Sci-fi, psycho, cuckoo. I'm so glad I have the opportunity to talk about these things. What else do I want to talk? The cosmic web. The cosmic web is so beautiful because in the same way that things travel through the web, you know, like vessels and people and all deities and everybody travels from here through there. In the same way, love travels. Okay, natural portals. What else do I have over here? Okay, so as one of the people that I'm not gonna mention any names as I say, but I'm just copying these and I'm gonna transform it in my own manner, but I thought it is very beautiful. It is very important for you to be aware of the technology that is already there, because there is not a need for anybody to suffer about any illness anymore. There isn't. So basically, this is abuse. This is abuse. The lack of disclosure is abuse. So this is an invitation to you to research about these technologies and to basically get together and demand disclosure. Could you imagine a planet Earth with her oceans totally clean and free from toxicity and pure, and the ecosystem going back into balance? Could you imagine that we are no longer using fossil fuels anymore, and we are not creating this global warming? Could you imagine all the deserts that would be green and that would be having fresh, organic, non-GMO produce made with love and cooperation from the whole community? Because this world is abundant and infinite and has infinite sources for everybody if we actually have access to this. Could you imagine every poor community or any community that doesn't have access to pure drinkable water? Imagine the amount of diseases, and imagine the quality of life, of how quality of life of humanity could be improved just if we had if the public, if we had actual access to these technologies without the greed of the ones who are holding the information. I'm disclosing this with you because I love you and because I want all of us to be healthy and prosperous and stop suffering for no fucking reason. So, the disclosure of these new technologies to the common public, if we all pay attention and get together and do something about it, at least by researching and having an open mind to know that these things already exist and are possible, we could manifest the golden age. That is precisely the golden age, disclosure about these technologies. Thank you for listening. I love you all.